Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's live conversation. I'm excited to have you here because today we're talking about how to heal your wounds to feel worthy of love and success. I meet a lot of women in my journey, and a lot of women struggle with that personal worthiness feeling, which sometimes leaves us feeling shameful and perhaps not worthy of the things that we truly want. So, even if your heart desires it, sometimes we just don't feel like we are deserving enough of it. Today's guest is Tami Gabbitas, who is renowned energy healer and gifted life coach based in Arizona. With nearly a decade worth of coaching experience, she taps into her intuitive abilities to heal those with trauma. So, Tammy, welcome to today's live.
Hi, thank you so very much for having me.
So good
I'm
to
so
have you here. This is such a big topic that I find that a lot of women are actually struggling with. Tell us a little bit more from your experiences. Why do you think this is such a big topic to talk about today?
This is such a big topic because we as women, I feel like there's a lot of hats that we have to carry. We have to carry motherhood, relationships, business. And if that is not coming from a place of love, or if there are issues in the way, it's going to impact those things tremendously.
Yeah, and there's always something we want. We want to be loved and we want to feel success or attain success. But sometimes even once we attain it, we don't feel worthy of it. Why is that?
A lot of the time that you don't feel worthy is because there's bigger issues going on. And that could be related to trauma or hardship and emotions that are literally holding you back that you're not giving attention to and recognizing in order to move forward.
Wow. And I can certainly relate, having been through a bit of my own personal healing journey and, experience traumatic experiences. And don't we all, I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. Tammy, I'd love to hear your story because there's quite a few things that you have gone through in your life, which I think a lot of women would find really inspirational to hear about.
Right. Okay. So my story begins with was married for a few years, and then during intimacy, I started having flashbacks of some abuse that had happened to me. And I literally thought I was crazy. Like, how is this coming up? And I buried it because it scared me. And I buried it to the point where it needed to come. I needed to go talk to someone, and I did. And the counselor that I went and talked to betrayed me. In fact, she didn't help me. She called CPS on me because of something
Mm.
that I said that she didn't like, and this person wasn't trained well like they should have been now that I've looked back and learned more about that situation. But from that experience, I hid my trauma even further. Like, I buried it deeper. I pretended like it didn't even happen, to the point where I could have gotten an Academy Award for acting so well because I pretended it literally didn't happen, to the point where I was getting super sick. Years had passed and I was beginning to have trouble with my thyroid. I was losing hair. I had 2 boys in this time frame, and the time that I carried them and then put them in my arms when they were born and took care of them, I had the hardest time attaching to them, carrying that guilt of what's wrong with me? Why do I feel like I don't love my child? It was so heavy. And because I was putting on this lens that I was okay, it was ultimately catching up to me. And I decided one day, I was talking with a friend and she said, "I really think you should go see my doctor." And I did, and we ran a bunch of tests, and he's like, "Everything looks fine." He's like, "I wanna do, something that's called a QEEG, and it reveals what's going on in the brain, the negative and positive neurotransmitters, and there was a part in my brain that was showing severe PTSD and something called ACEs, which is childhood adverse experiences. And he looked at me and he said, "Tammy, I think we finally got it figured out." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I'm gonna ask you something, and when I do, I want you to know, like, this is safe, you can talk to me." So he asked me, "Were you abused as a child?" And my body, because the trauma is screaming like, "We can't speak. We can't go through this again. We can't do this to your family. Don't say anything." So I literally was like a deer with, like, lights shining up on me. Like, I if I could have taken a picture of my, like, expression at that time, it would have been shocking. And then
Wow.
he asked me again and said, "Tammy, did anything happen to you?" And I don't know how I found the words to speak, but I did. And I said, "Yes." And it was at that point that he is almost like this person that I look up to so much because he gave me that voice. He allowed me to be seen after I tried for so long to have that, and it felt like no one would listen, and it was from that point where I had to do a lot of healing, and because of that, I have learned certain things that I now use to help other women in their healing journey.
Wow. I've got shivers. I've got nearly tears in my eyes just seeing that picture of you sitting in that chair and having to finally and having that safe space to finally say after you've been already um not heard in your previous consultancy room that you've had a consultation with another therapist to now finally be able to say, yes, I've been through trauma and you can now get help. And I know that severely also impacted your voice, you being able to speak and that caused tell me a little bit more. How did that connect with your personal experience of being able to speak?
I felt like the smallest thing, like I couldn't even agree to, or I couldn't make up my mind. I was so scared of what the reaction might be, or how it might play out, and I was overcome with so much fear. I had the hardest time even going to the grocery store with my 2 boys. I had to have an adult go with me because the trauma was so bad,
Wow.
and just going to sleep at night was so hard. I literally would look at my bed and be like, "I can't go to sleep because if I go to sleep, maybe something bad's gonna happen." It was so much anxiety and not feeling like I was brave enough or even had the voice to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's quite shocking experience that actually trauma and something as far as your childhood trauma can cause so much pain, anxiety, and feeling of not worthiness, not being able to speak. Can you imagine just like the if it manifested into physical pain? So I want to invite people to just leave a comment in the chat, just put a heart in the chat if you're here listening, just to show some love for bravery of another woman sharing her story, which is so personal, and just being here in this space to actually now have her voice and have her story heard. And I am just proud of you, Tammy, to see you sharing this story because I know how many people it can really impact. And it's so beautiful to see you in your power now to use this story to inspire other people. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So your work is pretty profound. As we discovered, you do something pretty magical with finding this trauma physical in people's bodies. How
Mhm.
do you do it? Because this is quite a phenomenon.
It is interesting, and there is no session that is ever the same. How I explain it the best is when I'm working with clients and I'm in the groove of it, their body speaks to me. I can hear the age of the trauma, and then from there, other aspects come to the surface where it's like, I've also had people from the other side come in and be like, "We're her grandmother, we're here to support." Like I said at the beginning, it no session is ever the same, but I can read people's energy, and I take that and create a package of sessions that helps them with whatever they need and clearing those emotions and traumas that they're carrying to help them have more success.
Wow, it's a phenomenal. When you first told me this, I was like, "Tammy, what?" And you told me the story of how you discovered this talent as well, which is quite amazing. So, for those of you watching this right now, let's see if you're watching live. If you have any questions for Tammy, please do leave us in the comments. And I know sometimes the system doesn't always bring the comments up in time. So if there are questions that you have, maybe you're just curious about Tammy's magical powers of healing, maybe you've been through something yourself, and we will share Tammy's contact details if you wanted to reach out. So if you're not wanting to put something in a chat right now, just put a heart in there. That's all. Just put a heart in there, because I know it's very personal. The things that we go through in our lives, and really the carrying of the guilt and shame when you've been through trauma, and sometimes, just as you say, inability to speak up or even reach out for help. It's a very, very lonely journey to be on. Did you feel quite isolated and lonely in this journey? And how did you find a way to deal with it?
Yes, I feel like the biggest thing was I felt like I was crazy. I never knew anyone that was like me. Like, I would ask girlfriends like, "Hey, like, when you're being intimate with your partner, like, do you have weird things pop in your head, or, like, does it make you freeze? Do you start crying?" And everyone was like, "No, that's not normal." And so then I shut it down even more because I was like, "There is literally something wrong with me." But it got to the point where the trauma was so profound that it didn't even have to be between me and my husband. It was a simple touch. If someone gave me a hug, my body was like, "Stop." Like, I froze, and it was just so hard to manage and work through.
Wow, it's just quite incredible, isn't it? How we can feel like we're alone. And I know I've been through, just also violation of my physical space. I don't want to call it rape, but I do feel like a violation of, my rights as a woman. And that experience also left me with no voice. I was in shame and feeling guilty, feeling so isolated, feeling alone, and sometimes looking in a mirror and not recognizing myself and crying for help, but not crying from the inside, but not being able to speak, not being
Yes.
able to say anything about it because the fear and the guilt and the shame was just so deep that, oh my God, so I know what you're saying. It's like you feel so alone. I remember the first time I shared the story with just the world, because it just got to the point where I started to share the story. I was empowered, and I thought, wow, there are so many other women who have experienced similar things. I had no idea until the moment I started to share my story and I started to meet other women who also experienced similar things. I was shocked that for so long, one, I didn't know there was help available, how to reach out for help, or three, I didn't know other people were experiencing the same things. Which, when we share, and this is, I feel like, why it's so important to have these conversations and create safe space for women to be able to talk about these things, because we make it, it's okay, it's okay, whatever you've been through, whatever trauma you've been through, it's okay, and there is a safe space for that, and we should be speaking about it because the awareness of it helps us heal. And I know that's a big part of what you do, Tammy, in terms of helping people heal so they can feel worthy, so they can reach for the goals and success and all those things. So yeah, tell me more about the healing process and just what happens after people have worked on their wounds.
I would say it never goes away, it gets easier, if that makes sense. You learn skills how to manage the triggers.
Mm.
You find people who are worthy to hear your story because
Ah,
it's not something that you can just share with everyone because
wow.
there are people that are not in that space yet. And it's like Brené Brown says something similar to it's like they have to be in the same like space as you to be worthy to hear your story. They have to like deserve that or have that right. Because if you share it with the wrong person, it can destroy you and limit your voice even further. And I'm walking evidence of that.
I love it. Well, Tammy, you are one of our headline speakers, VIP speakers at the Women Thrive Summit. And this is one of our ways to empower women to not have to walk these journeys alone. And like I said, over the last few months, I've met so many inspiring women like yourself who are taking part in this summit. But tell us a little bit more about the talk that you have coming up at the Women Thrive Summit in March.
I'm so excited. My talk is how to discover your voice after trauma. Learn how you can use energy healing to rediscover your voice and share your truth. And it's going to be phenomenal. If anything, it's for those women who want to speak up that are too scared, or maybe you were told that your trauma really wasn't anything, or you're questioning, did this happen to me? My talk is to help those who are scared find their voice. And even if that means they just have one safe person, then my job is done. Then it's about helping women find the courage, call back their power, and heal.
Wow. Wow. And Tammy, and I know that's probably one of the first times you get to share your story in such a format where you're standing on stage and taking this brave moment to share your story in this way. Is that true?
It is. Yes, it is.
Wow. So amazing. And I love the fact that this is your special moment because this is a true transformation, empowering yourself and then getting to the point where you claimed your voice, you claimed your power, and now you get to stand on stage and actually help others because I know you claim back your voice and the way you know you present your story and how you help people is just so profound. And we're all deserving to be on stage, having the voice and sharing our stories and not to be afraid. So I just want to celebrate your bravery and your courage and commitment to use this part of your story to say, you know what? I'm here to support somebody else and I'm no longer holding myself back. So I just want to say congratulations, Tammy, because this is such a huge thing to do.
Thank you. Yes, it's very huge. I am super excited, and I they say with healing, you know you're at like your last reach, that last sprint when you're reaching out and helping others. And I'm just so grateful to be at that place because I know how hard it is to be in the middle, to be at the beginning, even questioning, like, I don't even know what is what, but I'm lost and I need help.
You're pulling on our strings. You're pulling on our strings. For those of you watching right now, I just want to say thank you for your commitment. And if you want to attend the Women Thrive Summit, which is our women empowerment event, which is one of the biggest global women empowerment events, it is happening virtually. So the truth is, you don't even have to leave your home or your office to be part of it. This event is happening between the 20th and the 24th of March. This year, we have 50 amazing and inspiring and empowering women who will be sharing their stories and being so brave, like Tammy is, to make this impact. And truth is, we've all been through some trauma. We've all been through some hard knocks in our lives. But guess what? We can all be empowered to use our stories and help others. So this is your opportunity to go over to womenthrivesummit.com, register for your spot. We have free tickets, we've got some paid tickets if you want to get access to other bonuses. And I know a lot of our speakers like Tami will have amazing bonuses for you to take advantage of, and even have opportunity to have one-on-one strategy calls with these amazing speakers. So definitely worthwhile, not only to just grab your free ticket, but also to upgrade if you feel like it. Tami, if people are listening to this, they're feeling inspired, and perhaps they didn't want to engage too much in the chat because, of course, these are very personal things that we're speaking of today. How can people get in touch with you?
I'm very active on my social media. Instagram is the best way to reach me. My username or Instagram handle is strength_to_surrender. And you can follow. And if you would like to book something, there's a link in the bio, and we can go from there.
Perfect. So what I'll do, I'll put in a chat, just for those of you who are watching, and that you can just click on it and bear with me. I will put it on the screen as well for you to connect. So I encourage you to go over, even if you just watch this and you feel inspired and you just want to show some love to Tami, go over to strength_to_surrender on Instagram and connect with Tami, send her a message, or just leave a comment underneath this video and let you know you've been here, you watched it, and you're standing for women empowerment. And here's the thing, ladies, what I'm inspired by is seeing all these amazing women and yourselves being part of something bigger than us, being part of a movement, being part of a change, standing for this powerful moment right now, because it's not about the future, it's not just about the past, it's what can we do in this very moment. Whether you're struggling, whether you're succeeding, all it takes is you being part of this, being part of Women Collective. We are here, we're doing something, we're creating magic, we're creating movement, we're creating impact. Our mission this year is to reach 1 million women globally. And when I say reach, is not to create customers or leads, it's to impact through stories, through other women, to create that impact and lasting change. Because I know when women are empowered, when they have the support, when they have the community, together we are unstoppable, because we are ready to face challenges, knowing we have the support, knowing we have the tools to work on our traumas, work on our struggles. And look what happens when you become empowered. You share your truth, you stand on stage, you're ready to help others. So if we can empower just one person through Tami's talk to get out of being stuck and being too afraid to go and pursue her goals and dreams, that one woman could change thousands of women lives, right? That's the goal. Tam, what's the thing you're most excited about this summit coming up?
I think the most is just seeing women together, learning from each other, being inspired, healing, because as we speak, there's a huge energetic healing power going on behind the scenes, because stories and relatability brings us together and helps us improve our lives, which then gets bigger and helps us help our children and their children. This is just a phenomenal event that I'm so excited to be a part of, because it's going to impact the world.
Sending you virtual hugs. All of you watching, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to be here. Do make sure you check in and watch other live videos we have had with other amazing speakers from the Women Thrive. So head over to womenthrivesummit.com, save your spot, share it with another woman. If this live inspires you, leave a heart underneath and just share it with the world. I think it really deserves to reach so many more people. Tami, thanks so much for your time today and being so amazing and brave to share your story with us today.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing you all at the summit in March. Take care for now. Bye bye.